everyone, and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about the news writing process. So, what is the news writing process? The news writing process is the steps that journalists follow to write and publish a news story. It starts with the journalist coming up with a story idea and then researching that story idea. Once the journalists have researched, they will write an outline to organize their thoughts. Next, they will write a draft of the story. Finally, the story will be edited by a copy editor before it is published. So, let's have a more detailed breakdown of the steps in the news writing process. First, you come up with a story idea. Journalists can come up with story ideas by brainstorming, reading other news stories, or talking to the sources. Then they research the story idea. Once the journalist has a story idea, they need to research to gather information. This may involve interviewing sources, reading documents, or visiting the scene of their news event. Then they write an outline. An outline helps a journalist to organize their thoughts and ensure that their story has a clear structure. Then they write a draft. The draft is the first version of the story. It may not be perfect, but it should contain all of the main points of the story. The last thing is to get approval from a copy editor. A copy editor will review the draft of the story and make suggestions for improvement. The copy editor may also check the story for accuracy and grammatical errors. So most news stories use inverted pyramid structure. But what is the inverted pyramid structure? This inverted pyramid structure is a way of writing news stories so the most important information is presented first, followed by less important information. This is done because the journalists know that the readers are often short on time, so they want to get the most important information from a story quickly and easily. So, how to write a news story in inverted pyramid structure? It's simple. You start by writing a lead paragraph that summarizes the most important information in the story. This should include the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the story. After the lead paragraph, you should write the body of the story. The body of the story should provide more details about the story, but it should be written in a way that is easy to understand, and you should also include quotes from sources in the body. Then we have the conclusion of the story that should summarize the main points of the story and may leave the reader with something to think about. Here is an example of a news story in inverted pyramid structure. The headline reads, President Biden signs new climate change bill. Your lead paragraph should be, President Biden signed a new climate change bill into law on Thursday. The bill, which was passed by the Congress earlier this week, is the most ambitious climate change legislation ever enacted in the United States. The bill includes billions of dollars in funding for clean energy and climate change mitigation efforts. The who is President Biden, what is signed a new climate change bill into law, when on Thursday, where in the United States, why to address climate change, how? By passing the bill through Congress. Then we move on to the body, which states the bill includes a number of provisions aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions, including carbon tax, a clean energy standard, and investment in public transportation. The bill also provides funding for climate change adaptation measures, such as seawalls and flood control systems. We move on to the conclusion, which states the signing of the climate change bill is a major victory for President Biden and his administration. The bill is expected to have a significant impact on the United States' effort to combat climate change. What are the 5 W's and 1 H? They are important for the inverted pyramid structure because they help journalists to prioritize the information in their story. The most important information such as who, what, when, where, and why of the story should be presented in the lead paragraph. Less important information such as how of the story can be presented later in the story as well. The inverted pyramid structure is a valuable tool for journalists because it helps them to write clear, concise, and informative news articles. By following the inverted pyramid structure, journalists can ensure that their readers are able to get the most important information from their stories quickly and easily.